What up? Welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime. This is episode 40 something. I am going to try to make a quick one. I tried to do a quick one last time and I rambled on, I think, for about an hour. So, my advice that I keep getting is keep it shorter. I can't get through a full episode. My advice to that is pause it, you son of a bitch. Just kidding. God damn. I'm sore as fuck. Started goaltending. I'm a 46-year-old with a bad back, so I was like, this is a good time to start goaltending. But it's going well, and I went to a scrimmage where they have all these people register online beforehand, and then you get assigned to a line, and then you have like 2 minutes, and then boom, they blow the whistle. And if you're skating with the puck when they blow the whistle, you're off the puck, you go to the bench, the other guys come out. So you do get breathers as a skater, but it's nonstop action for 75 minutes. As a goaltender, it was constant. So I got my ass kicked. It was the most tired I've ever been in any sporting event I've ever played in, ever. Yeah, wrestling. When I was a kid, wrestling. I got worked. That was emotional, though, almost. But then I got talked into going to what I thought was a skills class last night, and I showed up, and that was another scrimmage. So I'm I'm pushing it, but that's all right. It's not hurting my back. I'm just tired in my muscles and everything, and sore in my muscles, so that's a good thing. I'm gonna hit an early morning session up at 6:30, and then I've got my last regular season game at 9:30, and then we got the playoffs. Every session I learn something that makes me better, so I'm excited. If I can do this, I can keep skating for another 10 years versus being a turd on a fourth line center on a D-League bar team. I'm very stoned right now. I posted something last night. I'm sitting on like 5 big bags, and I didn't know which one to open. So I posted last night, and just a picture, kind of braggy, I suppose. But I also just like the fact that I have a ton of weed, and I love that it's legal, and I'm a huge advocate for it. So I posted a picture, and I was like, what do I smoke next? And one of my buddies, an old co-worker, he said, I would love to get a video breakdown of all of your strains, with a laughing face and a smirk. So that's what this is. And I can arrange that, Warren. So my choices were Gorilla Glue 4, Lemon Citron, Ice Cream Cake, Bangers and Mac, or Trump Santo 90. Those are all sativa hybrids, except for the Trump Santo 90. I believe that's an indica. But for you non-smokers, before pot was legalized, you didn't know what strains you're getting. You may get a name, but you don't know if it's what it is. And then as a dealer, you want everybody to think your shit is good. So you get something that's going to put you out. And for you novices or people that don't smoke pot, sativas are more kind of energizing, creativity and stuff. Indicas put you into the couch and turn you into, like, I'm hungry, man. Those knock you out. Those indicas are kind of more for, pain, seizure-y stuff like that. The sativa stuff, I get sativa hybrids because everything, I want energy. I need the mood pick me up is just a side effect, is just a bonus for the pot usage, but I smoke it throughout my day for my back, for everything, for my mental health, everything. Um, and I need energy then. So the first time that I walked into a weed dispensary, I was like, appetite spread. They had like the Bud Tender was awesome, man. Me and him had the same palate. He would let me try stuff, and he's like, "Come back and let me know, dude." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was good, but it had a pretty low ceiling." He's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought. I couldn't really push through it, you know." So, but he told me. He's like, yeah, look at all these flavor profiles, and they had flavor profiles for everything. And the first one was like, I see one that says appetite suppressant. I was like, what? Never smoked pot and not gotten the munchies. And he's like, oh, that's because you're smoking, indicas. Indicas make you hungry. They put you in the couch, da 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 da. So I smoke sativa hybrids. Um, and at that dispensary, I was lucky enough to meet a celebrity wrestler. When I was in the Navy, I was stationed out in Virginia Beach, and one of the things that you can do when you're in the armed forces is you can get paid extra for living off base, and then you just crash on a person's couch. And it wasn't smart, but I was crashing on a married couple's couch, which I loved, and they were both friends of mine, and they were kind of having their problems. It probably didn't help having a guy crash on the couch, but we didn't understand that as young people. But I don't know where the hell I was going with this, because I am retarded stoned on one of these choices. But oh my god, I gotta tell that fucking story about them. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But where the heck was I going with that? I started about the military stuff, and I just went sideways. Anyways, we got these choices, okay? And where the hell was I going with that? That's gonna drive me nuts. But I do have a funny story that I'll have to tell later. Um, so I was making extra money in the Navy, and I still don't know where I was going with it, but that's okay. Okay, back to these choices. So, oh, I was kind of doing a little tutorial on the pot ski stuff. Man, I must have went way sideways. So back to the choices, because we're starting to ramble. So the Gorilla Glue number 4 is good. It's a real solid sativa hybrid. It gives you some creativity and some energy there. The lemon citron, same thing. Ice cream cake is a classic. It's just it just puts you in a really, really great mood. It's just really uplifting. Bangers and mac I had not had before, but I was familiar with mac and cheese, which I assume is part of the strain that they cross there. And then Trump Santo, like I said before, is an indica. So I never got an answer, so I went and jumped the gun, and I was gonna do like a snarky response, because that's pretty much my normal shit. And I was like, my response was gonna be like about how good mac and cheese was, and like anything even remotely close to mac and cheese, you buy it and you smoke it right away. So that is my review. Mac and cheese belongs in the Hall of Fame for strains. It's an unassuming name, but it came through. Mac and cheese came through about a year ago, and that was my decision, and that's what I opened up, and that's what I'm smoking, and I love it. That was today. So I've been running around, I've been cranking out errands, and that's why I was like, oh, I'll rip out a podcast real quick. And I don't think it's going to be really quick, folks. So, yeah, Bangers and Mac I opened up, and it is glorious. The smell. Okay, I know I've talked about this a few times, but how when Rona came through, it messed up people's stuff and they would get sick and then they couldn't smell again or taste again. Some people. Um, I got sick and didn't realize it right away, but I've started to smell again. I couldn't smell before. I got cracked in the head. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. When I was in the Navy, could I smell as a kid? Yeah, I used to smell bacon and shit all the time and pancakes. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But either way, I can't smell anything. I once cleaned out a grease trap that had been there for like 5 years. The stuff was dried when we across the opening, and I had to take a screwdriver to pop through it, the hardened shell of this grease trap. My kitchen manager started puking in the bush. I was like, "You're a big pussy," but I couldn't smell anything. So, I've started to be able to smell again now. I smell the dog's farts. I smell my food. I can smell pot now. And, God damn it. Oh, I want to crawl inside this little bag so much. Oh my God. I love you, bangers and man. So, we chose wisely. Yeah, that's in like my top 5 strains. Mac and cheese. When it came through like a year and a half ago, it was delicious. Now it's coming through cross uh, pollinated, maybe cross whatever, with other strains. And if you get anything with mac and cheese in the name, you buy it. A lot of it, because it's dynamite. Other ones, Casey Jones was always a good one. Casey Jones was the first one that kind of opened my eyes up. Like, wow, there are certain strains out there that are just awesome. Blue Dream, for some reason, I get headaches on, which is weird. I've tried it a couple of different times when it's come through. Yeah, so Casey Jones, probably number 4. Number 3, probably Humpty Dumpty. Number 2, Kilimanjaro. No, number 2, bangers. Number 2 is mac and cheese. Number 1 is Kilimanjaro. Uh, I smoked Kilimanjaro and did something. I did like so much shit in a half hour, and then smoked it again and did so much shit in a half hour. And I'm like running around doing stuff, and I'm like, dude, I am geeked out of my gourd right now. And I was like, this is the pot. And I swear to God, I started to kind of pay attention. Obviously, I'm in my head at that point, but man, I would smoke and it felt like I was coked up from what I've heard. Man, I was running around. I did like so much. It was during the summer. I went out and ran. I ran like, biked. I went and biked a while, came back, did shit, biked again, came back, worked on my Mustang. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, ooh. So those are Uncle Rico's top 4 Mary Jane strains. The only woman I've ever loved, Mary Jane. Number 4, Casey Jones. Number 3, Humpty Dumpty. Number 2, mac and cheese. Number 1, Kilimanjaro. Boom! Put it to bed. So this little breakdown was compliments of my dog Warren. Warren was a server at one of the restaurants that I managed back in the day. I think we were in Omaha. And before we do this, I'm gonna go say hi to this Bangers and Mac again. Warren was a server at one of my restaurants. Kind of a bit of a ladies' man. Yeah, he was a ladies' man because he was so quiet. And he was just very quiet, head shaved, so, kind of intimidating for the dudes too. He kind of had like I'm a tough guy aura. But really smart. And I discovered that really quickly. So like I joke around a lot with him. We had the same sense of humor. It's like a service sense of humor when you're in the service. And when you go through shit, you joke a lot about it. So you have fucked up sense of humor. You have fucked up stuff. Oh my god, I gotta tell that story too. Okay. All right, so Warren was just a good dude, and Warren was just a good dude that I could go and mess with, and he could go and mess with me and everything like that. So, but another guy that I know I've told this story, but another dude when I was serving then later on in my career when I didn't want to manage anymore, I was like, screw this, I don't want the responsibility. I just moved out to Denver, didn't know anybody except for my buddy that I moved out there with, and I got a job at a pretty swanky restaurant. GM was a complete douchebag. But the assistant manager was awesome. He was just hilarious. We had the same sense of humor. We were always joking around, saying inappropriate stuff to each other. He comes in. I'm working one day, and the guy was a freaking talented musician, singer, just unbelievable. But he comes in. I come into work, and I was kind of doing my thing. I didn't have a chance to say hi to him. But he was like, saying hi, hobnobbing with some guests and stuff, and gave her a hug, gave the old lady a hug, and gave this very attractive redhead a hug, and blah blah blah, and then walked away. I go, hey, what's up, man? And he goes, hey, what's going on? I go, dude, that redhead looks like she likes to fuck. And he goes, yeah, I hope so. She's my wife. And I go, oh, fuck, dude. But this other dude, when I was in the Navy, about my Mustang, before we get to the Navy thing, the Navy thing, real quick. We're going way off tangent here already. We're 20 minutes into it. Okay, so when I lived, this is another horrible story though, but when I was living on this dude's couch, back up, the fucked up sense of humor type stuff. Okay, and this really wasn't more sense of humor. This was like teaching the guy a lesson, kind of code ready type stuff, but not as severe. More like like a code yellow. So when I got to the ship, there was a side story. There was a hurricane, so we had to deploy. I had to cut my liberty short, and we get to muster, the very first muster, and my chief comes out, And so Seaman Apprentice Searzan, welcome to the ship. Da, 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 you know. He goes, you ever been on a boat before? And I go, I grew up on the Mississippi, Chief. I'll be just fine. And he goes, oh, you ever been in a hurricane before? And he taps me in my nuts and gives me a cup check. And like drops me. And I'm still in the like Navy boot campy thinking where I'm like, fuck, I'm down. I gotta get up to attention, you know, and I'm trying to get up to attention. And I forget who was next to me. Rucker? It was Rucker because it was alphabetical. Oh my god, Ruck. So I'm like, ugh! And Rucker's like, it's okay. Um, and I finally get up and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And these guys are like, it's Chief's way of, saying hi. So, but when we went out on that hurricane, we took I forget what it was, 47-degree roll or something like that. It was crazy. But Rucker had his sidekick, Hatcher. And Hatcher was a shitbag. And he was, kind of a young. I mean, we were all young at the time, but he was like, he always did this, like, I don't care kind of attitude. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. He'd show up to muster with, like, just unballing his shit, like, all wrinkled up and stuff, And it would get to the point where our chief would beat us or, take away our, liberty or whatever way, our weekends or whatever, da 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 da. So, we get the idea to, okay, so when you go to battle stations on a ship, you need to do all of this stuff you got to put all this stuff on to get ready. You have to get, chemical warfare ready, all of this stuff you have to put on. One of them is a knit under, thing. Forget what they're called. But, hood. This is messed up so we get the idea to take his hood and, kind of clean ourselves up. And as I'm saying this, fucking praying I was smart enough to be the first one on that train. But we all took turns cleaning, giving ourselves a little check down there. Give ourselves a wipe check. And then we put his hood back into his stuff, packed it away. Because at battle stations, you all have places where you need to be, and then that's where your suit and everything is assigned. So when you hear the clang on, I forget, is that what it's called? I don't know. But whenever you hear the tones for battle stations, you got to race to, your assigned duty station, throw on all your stuff, and you do these drills all the time. So as soon as you hear that tone, you just, you're hauling balls, put everything on. And so we dropped wind to Chief about what we did. I wonder if I can tell these stories. Yeah, who cares? Nobody. I got 45 subscribers. Nobody's gonna hear it. So Chief catches wind of what we did, and all of a sudden we hear, or it's not battle station, it's general quarters. We were general quarters. And so chief told, like, the CO is the only one who gets these, can run these drills. Probably the XO also, but either way, he let some bigwigs know about what was going on, which is fucking beautiful. So we hear the general quarters call. So I'm already in. Were we on the ball? I think we were down there. Yeah. But either way, I was down there with them when they get there. So boom, we throw on all the stuff. And so once you get the hood on, you're like this, and then you have the plastic like hood that goes over that. So we're sitting there, and we're all kind of looking. You don't sit down in your stations or whatever. You're doing, whatever. Once you get all your stuff on, usually there's somebody there who's like, okay, we're good, and then everybody reports like, hey, how long did it take or whatever. It's a drill. So we're sitting there, and this guy Hatcher has all the stuff on, and you see him start going. And then he realizes, like, he's going through, he's like, what the fuck stinks? This is absolutely horrible. Okay, what did they do? And goes to take it off, and Chief came in, boom, and is like, you fucking put that on, Hatcher. Fucking put it back on there. And he fucking blah blah blah. He's talking about something, and he didn't. He gave us a bullshit like this. You need to be, readiness at all times. This is unacceptable time. Blah blah blah. Finally, he started laughing and just fucking takes off. And then we hear the, clang on for, that it was a drill, da 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 da, but holy gods, man, that was one of those one of the moments where you're like, just the satisfaction of the enjoyment of that moment while he sat there and had to. That's gonna gross out a lot of people. But that's the kind of shit that you do with that, sense of humor. Oh my god, and Warren has that sense of humor. We brought it back, folks. So the other story that is not very good either is I was living on this couple's couch, and they were awesome. I loved them both. Jason Vantoff, Alyssa. How can I remember shit from that long ago? But I can't remember, like 5 minutes ago. And it's not the pot, because I've been smoking pot my whole life. It is my TBI, but I still. But anyways, I'm living on this couple's couch and collecting extra money from the Navy. And I am dating this girl who's just so beautiful. Brunette, little tiny girl. She comes up to me in a bar, and she says, God, this is such a fucked up story. Not fucked up, but it's just weird. She comes up to me in the bar and says, hi there, what's your name? And I go, I'm Nick. And she goes, and I go, what's yours? And she goes, oh, it's so-and-so. And I go, oh, nice. And she goes, that's a very becoming shirt that you have on. And I go, thank you. Yours is very nice also. And she goes, thank you. If I were on you, I'd be coming also. And I was like, all right, cool. Guys, have a good night. And she's like, whoa, 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 hold on. We're just having a... And then another table over there is laughing. And I go, and she goes, we're having a hit-on contest. And I go, well, it worked. You won. And she goes, that's pretty good. She goes, what? Okay, yeah, here's my number. Here's your number. Boom, good. So we went out a couple of times, and something we she like out of the blue told me right away. She goes, hey, just to let you know, I have like a weird thing about monks. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's not cool. I had a really good friend in high school who was a monk, and I was like, oh, what the I was like, oh, crap. And she's like, no, 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 I don't, I'm not racist. She goes, I'm just like seriously attracted to him. And I'm like, you have an uncontrollable fetish for monks? And she's like, yeah. And I go, and for you non-Midwest people, Hmong is a type of is it race? I guess. Either way, it's a type. It's a Asian race. From Laos, I think, or Cambodia maybe. But either way, a lot of them ended up in the Midwest, and for farming reasons, they ended up in like Wisconsin and stuff like that. So there's little pockets of Hmong communities. There's Hmong, Hmong. There's like Hmong churches and stuff around and everything. He actually taught me how to speak Hmong. But she told me this, and I was like, oh, come on, you're fucking disgusting, right? Why don't you like Hmongs? And she's like, no, 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 I'm not racist, but I have this, So I'm thinking, what the hell? You have an uncontrollable fetish for Hmong guys? And I just kind of thought she was joking. I thought it was a weird joke, so I let it. I was like, okay, cool. We go on, we're dating and stuff. She gets us into this club, and we're like, me and my guys don't have to wait in line anymore. We're like dancing on tables, and we're getting drink hookups and shit, like, you know. And there was one night where I we're at the bar. I pop over. Something happened where I wasn't gonna go out, and then I did. And so I pop over to a sidebar, and she is grinding on this big old sweaty kind of ugly Hmong dude. And I'm like, oh my god, what? She wasn't kidding. Like, what? He's not even a good looking Hmong dude. Like, my buddy was a good looking Hmong dude. Like, what this guy? I'm like, oh my god, what the. So I walk in, I go, hey, so and so, what's up? And she goes, oh, hey. And she stops dancing, and I'm like, I go, well, like, what the fuck? We like had our little, like, just a couple of things. I was like, boom, 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 and I'm out. I left. It wasn't long drawn out. It was just like, I fucking see you, bitch. And it wasn't like dancing. It was like heavy duty grinding, So I was pissed, and I drove. I had a really sweet Mustang at the time. It was a stick. I was drunk, and I drove that thing just about as I know it was wrong. I had a big problem with drinking and DUIs, so I don't need a bunch of comments like how horrible it is. I know a lot of the stuff I did back then was horrible, but I get home, thankfully, somehow, and I'm sleeping on the couch, and Jay's wife comes out and is like, Nick, get up, da 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 da. And I'm like, no, guys. She's like kicking the couch, get up. And I'm like, seriously, this is not cool. And she's like, get up. Seriously, I gotta, And so I get up, and she walks me over to the front door and opens the door, and there's my Mustang. Like, bumper is ground out on their front step. It's about 2 inches away from the door. Their driveway is, over. I'm up on the grass. You have to slide on the hood to get out. Burnt out my clutch. Jealousy. The first girl that cheated on me, maybe? I don't know. But that was meaningless. She does not belong in the handful of heartache. What else has happened? Jamming outside the gym. I was, before I cut this was an old one that I didn't see. Sometimes I just write notes of things that I think people will find amusing. And this is one of those. When I was very heavily bearded and had my long hair, it could be said that I was a bit intimidating, but I was outside the gym getting ready to go in, and I was smoking up before I go in. Oh my god, I'm so sore. Yeah. And listening to my music, and like the girliest girly song was on. I have some girly stuff on my iPod, like some Vanessa Carlton, some Sarah Bareilles. But this was like super, super girly, and I forget what song it was that I was listening to. Oh, Bryn, her name is Bryn something, like, the day's perfect. But I'm smoking up, bam, I got my little stone on, and I was getting my stuff to go, and I was singing along to my song, and then I look out the window, and there's these two girls in this car, like, right next to me, that had snuck up from behind, and I got really good peripheral vision, but I didn't see them at all. And I'm like, oh god, they're just like, I go, oh, this is my jam. I like roll the window up, I'm like running into Jim. So that was kind of embarrassing. I got oh my gosh. So after I smoked this Bangers and Mac, it sent me on this spree of deep thoughts. And God, I would never do this at all, and please don't anybody ever attempt to do this. I don't think anybody listening to my channel would ever do something like this, but I was thinking, I was cleaning out my grinder, my pot grinder, and I know you can't really get anything from pot unless it's like cooked, or you draw it out, or you smoke it. You can eat pot and nothing's gonna happen to you. So when you make like butter or something like that, you cook it and take like extract the stuff, or you cook it into a butter, you bake it or something. But I was thinking, like, because I run really hot water. I'm a single dude, so I run my water heater is jacked up, and I was running it super hot to clean this grinder up, and then I dumped out the water. What I do is I just run it really hot, and then boop boop, I throw it in an old container, and then I hit it with a little bit of like really, really hot water, and then I scrub it off and dunk, and then rinse, and I'm good. But as I'm dunking this water out, I'm thinking, if I cooled this water off and gave it to a dog, it would fall. So bad. Please don't anyone do this. Should I just stop talking because my next idea got even worse? After I was done with that, I was like, why do you think it's like you go through the normal like what if somebody did that? That'd be horrible. And then I started thinking about I got in my truck and I've got a little squeak on there and I'm like I I stopped. I always stop when I hear a rotational thing. I always stop and check my lug nuts because I have this irrational fear that one of my wheels is going to fall off one of these times. I've always wondered, like, why don't degenerates and shitbags mess with lug nuts more? And again, please, please, please don't anybody actually start doing this, but if your wheel falls off, it's going to do a lot of fucking damage, okay? Also, like, scary as shit, okay? And the other thing is all you need is a lug wrench, and you're good. You can loosen somebody else's. You can loosen up lug nuts to the point where they're barely on, and then vibration and turning is gonna do the rest of the job. So it might not even happen right away. It might happen a week down the road. But I'm always surprised at the low-hanging fruit. Like, that would be so easy to do, and there's so many fucked up evil people out there that you would think that sorry, I don't know, this is the kind of stuff that I think about when I get stoned on the mac and cheese. All right, I'm just rambling. Again, 42 minutes. Son of a bitch. Maybe I should start doing an outline or something like that. No, because I'm still going to go off on the tangents and not know what the hell I'm talking about until I do bring it back around. Because I always do. No, I don't. That was a rarity. Warren. Okay, 42 minutes later, I have given you a strain review. You're welcome, buddy. Peace out. Granite City for life, bitch.